Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Tonight, thousands of people are descending on downtown for a San Diego Comic-Con. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. It's preview night for the 4-day pop culture convention, and KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman joins us live near the convention center. Matt, can you tell us what it's like out there?
Maya, just take a look around me. It is packed down here. Preview night for Comic-Con is just kicking off in really about 30 minutes down here in the gas lamp. And there have been people out here all day, and they are very excited for this event. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be going at full steam. More than 100,000 people are going to be just inside the San Diego Convention Center alone during that time. Now, I want to show you what the gas lamp looks like. It's been being transformed this week in anticipation of this event. It's a huge event for San Diego. You can see all these buildings that are wrapped. The film studios, the movie studios are out here. All this as Comic-Con 2023 kicks off.
Mario and Bowsette, they spin on the popular Bowser.
Downtown is once again comic themed. The costumes are out early this year too, and while Comic-Con is certainly a lot of fun, it's also where creators go to sell their work.
I mean, this is the ultimate convention. We do a lot around the country that are good-sized conventions, but this is the ultimate one that everybody really shines to. If people don't know Comic-Cons, they know San Diego Comic-Con.
Right. Yeah, it's the one that has the most clout.
Film and TV actors plus writers are on strike this year. That's keeping some large movie studios away from Comic-Con, but people we talked to didn't seem that concerned. If anything, fewer studios may bring more attention to the comics.
We support them, and we also wanted to see what's going to happen to us being here. Is it going to go back to being comic focused? Is there a way that they could see some comic focus?
Comic-Con is one of the largest economic drivers for San Diego. Attendees are expected to contribute around $160 million to the local economy. San Diego Convention Center officials estimate around $3 million will be collected just in hotel room taxes.
Everyone who's here spends money in town. They're going to spend money here, they're going to spend money out in the community, and the sheer number of people that are here, and again, there's 135,000 that'll be in the building over the 4 days coming up, but there's even more than that in all of downtown.
Thousands of people staying in hotels means they have to eat and drink somewhere. Gas lamp restaurants like City Tacos are expecting a Comic-Con boom.
And it's always great seeing a lot of people dressed up and coming in, and obviously it does pick up a lot of flow coming in here into the restaurant with their unique costumes. It's just amazing and a great vibe. We are expecting to have a great amount of sales. Usually it does.
If you want to get a taste of Comic-Con, some restaurants like Barley Mash have created themed food and drink menus, and costumes are welcome here too.
We're going to have some great food specials, a bento box food special, as well as some cocktails that are going to be a little different, a little anime oriented and fun. We expect huge crowds, lots of fun outfits. It's just, in general, one of the best times downtown to be here.
Take a look at this. This is just outside the convention center. People are queuing up, ready for preview night. The line is really only getting longer as the minutes go by down here in the gas lamp. Now, it is going to be a little bit warmer this weekend, so if you are coming down for some of the Comic-Con festivities, make sure to bring some water. And keep in mind, too, there's going to be a number of road closures in the area, so something to definitely be top of mind if you're coming out here. Maya?
That's some great advice there, Matt. But now not everyone was able to get their hands on a Comic-Con badge. So for those who are looking for some fun, are there other things that they can still do?
Oh, there are a ton of things that people can do down here, Maya. Some of the TV studios and the film studios, they have these really cool activations, taking over some of the local restaurants where they're doing different food specials, different sort of like virtual movie sets that you can go check out. Some of that's happening right by the gas lamp sign downtown. Some of that's happening behind the convention center. And as you saw in that story that we just watched, there are some restaurants that are also getting in on the con by doing some themed food. So plenty of options if you don't have a pass.
Great, thanks so much for that report, Matt, and stay cool out there. It looks like we're in for more hot days with excessive heat warnings extending into the weekend. Meteorologist Justin Povic has our first look at weather.
Continue to focus in on the heat, and now notice the heat alerts have been stretched all the way out into Saturday evening, but an additional tier of the counties have been added to now a heat advisory that includes, again, Poway. Also looking at those excessive heat warnings stretching out in the deserts, including Borrego Springs. Very important here to take this heat seriously, finding ways to stay cool and hydrated. Back to 114 as we go into tomorrow. Much more coming up just ahead on the heat.
Well, summer vacation is over for thousands of students in the South Bay. 2 districts returned today for the fall semester, and KPBS education reporter MG Perez was there for the first day of school.
It's a grand entrance to Montgomery High School in Otay Mesa. Members of the school's Aztec Marching Empire and cheer squad drummed up excitement for the 1,700 students here on the first day of school, led by drum major Shaylin Durrami, who is already hard at work on her senior year.
Getting to know my band more, trying to know like if they have any weaknesses, trying to make those strong.
Montgomery is one of the 28 campuses in the Sweetwater Union High School District, starting the fall semester today. For almost 37,000 students total, it's time to get back to the books to study and learn.
I would say staying focused, because I know senioritis is a very big thing, like slacking off, because it's our last year, so I'm really trying to stay focused this school year.
Going back to school in the heat of the summer is a result of a year-round school schedule, and it's by design, in order to prevent students from even more learning loss. There is no 3-month summer vacation for Sweetwater students.
Every 9 to 10 weeks, we're on a break, so it just comes right about when you're starting to get a little burned out. We have that break to kind of recharge, so we're constantly doing that throughout the year, and I think breaking it up that way really has a benefit.
I'm excited.
There is also the excitement of the first day of school in the Chula Vista Elementary School District, the largest TK to 6th grade district in the state, with 50 campuses and 28,000 students. This semester, the district has opened 2 community schools, including this one at Palomar Elementary. The community school model offers families many more resources and learning opportunities beyond the regular school curriculum and services.
It's what we need, the change that we need in education, so that we can support the whole child and their family as well, so that they're ready to learn and thrive.
9-year-old Mikey Solorio is a budding mathematician ready to start 4th grade.
I like times.
Oh, multiplication. What's 5 times 4?
20.
What's 6 times 10?
60.
You are good at math.
Yeah.
School is in session.
Have a great first day, guys.
MG Perez, KPBS News.
When it opened early last year, St. Teresa of Calcutta Villa was praised as a major step forward in getting homeless people off of the streets of San Diego. But as KPBS reporter John Carroll tells us, some residents say it now feels more like a prison for one specific reason.
February 10th of last year, the official opening day for St. Teresa of Calcutta Villa, part of Father Joe's Villages, a 14-story, 407-unit building. Joy was in the air.
People who have been on the streets for such an extended period of time, and now they look elated because they have a place of their own.
Attention, attention. An emergency has been reported in this building.
The elation of that day is long gone, replaced by fear and anger, and it's all because of the building's 3 elevators.
We're basically like caged animals here.
That's resident Maria Ennis. She shot that video several weeks ago. She's lived here almost since the building opened. She says the elevators started breaking down within the first couple of months.
They don't give you an estimated time of when they'll be fixed. You know, it could be an hour or 2. It could be days.
These pictures taken by Ennis show what residents see when the elevators are broken. Shortly before we arrived today, she took pictures of an elevator repairman driving in the building to service them.
I get pretty angry.
Resident Mo Truel, along with Ennis and another resident, are bringing a lawsuit against Father Joe's Villages over the broken elevators. There are a number of people in the building who are disabled. For them, the fear of being trapped in a burning building is always there. It's not just the threat of fires. Fires have actually happened in a couple of apartments in this building. You can still see the evidence of them up on the 12th floor. You can see scorch marks from a fire in one of the units and boarded up windows on another.
No matter where the lawsuit goes, my main goal is to have the elevators fixed so that we feel safe of where we're at. They feel that they did a good job for the homeless. Prove it. Prove that you're not putting our lives at risk.
Father Joe's didn't make anyone available for an interview. Instead, they provided a statement. It says they take claims of housing discrimination seriously and address such concerns promptly. But because of the pending litigation, they are unable to say anything more about a problem residents say has been going on for more than a year. John Carroll, KPBS News.
Homeless encampments are officially banned in the city of Poway. City Council unanimously passed a new ordinance at a meeting last night. Law enforcement will be allowed to clear out encampments in the city if shelter beds are available in the county. Campers will be given 24 hours to move, and it goes into effect on August 16th. The decision comes just weeks after the city of San Diego passed a similar ordinance. The first electric-powered cranes in North America will soon be moving cargo at the 10th Avenue Marine Terminal. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson says it's another step toward cleaner air.
The cranes tower over the dock where they'll be used to load and unload cargo at the marine terminal. The port spent $14 million to buy the cranes and another $9 million for the infrastructure to operate the machines.
If we're going to grow our cargo operations and do it in a way that our communities can support, then we have to make big investments. We have invested or committed to spend about $63 million, and with our partners about $103 million. That's a massive investment to help move the port in that direction.
The cranes are expected to start working later this year. They replace a diesel crane that was the dirtiest piece of equipment at the terminal. The change helps the port move closer to making all cargo handling equipment zero-emission vehicles by 2030.
We're a port of firsts, and we are excited about what we're doing at the Port of San Diego, and this is a big day for the San Diego region.
The 10th Avenue Marine Terminal is a 96-acre facility located just south of downtown San Diego and just west of Barrio Logan. Residents there spent decades fighting for cleaner air. The battle culminated in the port's adoption of a maritime clean air strategy in 2021.
Essentially, it says reduce emissions from all of the diesel-dependent devices that you use. So that includes ships, trucks, cargo handling equipment, and any other device that you use that is dependent on diesel fuel.
Diesel engines produce cancer-causing particulate pollution that is especially dangerous for small children. Portside communities have 3 to 5 times more asthma compared to other San Diego neighborhoods. Reducing any pollution will have a significant impact on the community's health. The Environmental Health Coalition says eliminating all diesel engines in the area could reduce particle pollution by 84%.
It's really important that our port has done this. I think it's a huge sign that they are serious about reducing emissions, and we hope that they'll stay on that path.
In the meantime, it'll be up to these cranes to do some of the early heavy lifting when it comes to reducing air pollution in this area. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Pacific Gas and Electric announced a pilot program to reduce wildfire risk. This large masticator operates remotely to clear brush in steep and challenging terrain. It's one of many technology initiatives being explored by PG&E. Others include the use of drones, remote microgrids, and remote prescribed burning machines called BurnBot.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, IRS whistleblowers testify about alleged interference in the Hunter Biden investigation. Coming up at 7 right after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Stephen Chu is a self-described geeky fan, but he's also San Diego's first Asian American federal magistrate. And for the 4 days of Comic-Con, his two identities intersect. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando explains.
Not every judge has an Autobot matrix of leadership to consult in his chambers.
And that's passed down from Autobot leader to Autobot leader, and it contains the accumulated wisdom of the Autobot ancients. So I figured I could use some help making my decisions as a judge.
But then Steve Chu is not your typical judge.
A judge's chambers ends up being a reflection of who they are, and a big part of who I am are these properties that I love.
Properties such as Transformers, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, and Star Trek inspire Chu.
Captain Picard here, the epitome of a Starfleet captain of dignity, command, fairness, and also justice.
Comics and law books take up equal space in Chu's chambers, reflecting his dual passions. He goes to a shelf and pulls out a Daredevil comic.
He's an attorney as well, a blind attorney. He became an attorney to fight the bullies because he was bullied a lot growing up and believed in the rules of law.
I've been preoccupied of late with questions of morality, of right and wrong.
I never liked bullies, and I wanted to stand up to bullies. And the law, through exercising the rules, enforcing the rules, is, I believe, a way to do that.
Chu was recently sworn in as a U.S. federal magistrate. He's the first Asian American in that position in San Diego.
People are supposed to be equal under the law, and the law applies equally to everyone, so it should be a fair playing field, and that often is the role of the judge, to make sure that it is fair.
Chu's dual identity as a respected judge and a pop culture nerd led him to join the Legal Geeks.
The Legal Geeks is a group of attorneys and judges who love nerd culture. And by that I mean comic books, science fiction, movies, shows, a lot of pop culture from the 80s, 90s, and today. I view it as our mission to educate people about the law and to make it fun and accessible. So we do these mock trials, these pretend trials. We did a Star Wars court-martial about Poe Dameron.
We do not deny Captain Dameron's actions. We've shown you why he did what he did. We therefore ask that you find Captain Dameron not guilty for disobeying orders, not guilty for mutiny, and not guilty for conduct unbecoming an officer.
And we try to make it as realistic as we can, you know, with real rules, following some rules of evidence and how a trial would actually happen.
The hope is it'll get people to think about the law.
We want people to care and to get interested in the law. We've had people tell us, you know, you guys are the reason I'm going to law school.
This year, Chu will be on one of the two Legal Geeks panels at Comic-Con. His Thursday night panel addresses the legal issues raised in the Indiana Jones movies.
Issues such as, you know, can he actually keep the items that he's finding in all these places under this fictional treaty for the protection of antiquities? What about the partnership agreements that he may have with people who he's working with?
The Legal Geeks will also raise questions about the government classifying the Lost Ark of the Covenant as top secret.
Well, what is the government's authority to classify these items? And what right does the public have to learn about these through mechanisms like the Freedom of Information Act or any other mechanism? Should the public have access to the Ark of the Covenant?
Chu approaches the mock trials with the same diligence as a real one.
I'm drafting out my arguments, I'm writing outlines, I'm meeting with witnesses, I'm prepping them.
Chu's dedication to the law, whether in a mock trial or a real courtroom, is impressive. And when he suits up in his black cape, judge's robes, he seems every bit a superhero trying to protect the ideals of the legal system. And when he leaves the office, well, he gets to play being a different kind of superhero. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Heat remains the main story, and this has been ongoing. So there's not only the intensity of the heat that we have to factor in, but also the longevity, and even the coastal zones having less of an influence here with the marine layers. So those numbers will be climbing their way back up in the next couple of days. Could we see some changes as we head our way down the road late this weekend into next week? We'll check that out here in just a moment. But as I was mentioning not too long ago, we've seen an expansion of some of the alerts out. Heat advisories now into some of the interior valleys, so you go just away from the coast. And these numbers are going to be in business here over the next couple of days. We will see the peak of the heat coming up here later on Friday into the start of the weekend. And again, these alerts go out through Saturday evening throughout the deserts. That's an excessive heat warning. Even for tonight, we're only settling down into the mid-80s around Borrego Springs. It seems like that has been the case for quite some time now. 67 Oceanside, 69 toward Chula Vista. But look at Ramona here. Wow, we're up close to 100 for the afternoon. Borrego Springs up to 114. Even Mount Laguna topping out into the 80s. Oceanside and Chula Vista both sharing 81 degrees. So hydration, of course, key. Again, limiting that strenuous activity to early in the morning or perhaps late in the day. Now, let's go down the road here toward the coast and notice how those highs stay put up into the 80s as we go into the weekend. And we will also have, again, some fog very early on toward the immediate shoreline and then some sunshine. Interior valleys are going to be up there the next couple of days, especially as we go right into a Saturday. But even heading into Sunday and Monday, we're going to stay up into the mid-90s. Over the mountainous terrain, we will start to see a bit of a shifting here going on. Sunday into Monday, we'll fall back down some. The sunshine continues, and even throughout the deserts, again, you'll notice next couple of days, we're all the way up into the mid-110s. We will start to see some of the numbers beginning to drop late this weekend into early next week. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Justin Povick.
San Diego will host National Women's Soccer League Championship this year. San Diego Wave announced it today, and the league final will take place at Snapdragon Stadium on November 11th, marking the first time the event will be hosted on the West Coast since 2018. The match starts at 5 p.m. and will be televised on CBS and Paramount Plus. Star Wars always has a big presence at Comic-Con. Tomorrow, San Diego Droid Builders is offering attendees an opportunity to learn how to build and maintain their own R2 units. KPBS video journalist Carlos Castillo takes us into the builders' workshops.
This is my madman's workshop. I like junk, and so I'm kind of a Jawa. I've always liked taking stuff apart and figuring out how it works. I was always interested in Star Wars, but then a friend of mine introduced me back into discovering droids, and it really took off from there, and I got re-immersed into the Star Wars universe. I didn't know I always wanted an R2-D2, but I built one. So the first one took me about 3 years. A lot of that was parts gathering. And as you would get parts, you would kind of work on them because you knew what was going to look like, and then you knew you needed to attach things. And there are forums, there are build logs, there are blueprints, schematics, just about anything you can think of. Been fortunate to have access to the archives, so people went in there and they've taken measurements, so we know that everything is fairly accurate. Price range? $100 to $20,000, $30,000. I mean, there's not an upper limit. There's a lot of money, but you're not spending that all at once. You're buying, $40 here, maybe $100 there, and you're gathering the parts and doing things. This is my R2. It's been through a lot of iterations. This one has the ability to open up all the pie panels. We have a little motor here to help spin the domes, so give it nice rotation. Anyone can build a droid. This year at Comic-Con, we're having a How Do I Get Started in Building Droids? So we'll be talking about that very thing. When you're doing this, you make all kinds of friends, and all kinds of connections from all around the world, and it's just, it's awesome.
We've been wanting to one of these things forever. You go to Comic-Cons, you go to, Star Wars celebrations. People are actually making these things and they're real. So I got with my brother-in-law, Corey, and I said, hey, if I start buying some stuff, could we collectively really make this happen? And he said, oh, we could make this happen. We're going to do it. And then it just snowballed.
This is what you start with, and then you can see the little tabs here. You cut off, clean them up, get all your pieces together. They get painted blue.
Typically, I think it takes maybe 5 to 10 years is somewhat of the average of when people will start building the droid for actual completion. We did ours in 6 months. I think that's unheard of. It was going to be his first Comic-Con, actually. He went to WonderCon. Right, yeah, and this is going to be his first San Diego Comic-Con. You join a club like 501st or R2 Builders, and they're looking for, like, Make-A-Wish kids are looking for, they want to have a droid or a stormtrooper. They want to, have characters present, and that really makes everything tied together where it just makes everything so worth it.
People just light up. People, grown adults turn into kids.
And that wonderful story was produced by KPBS video journalist Carlos Castillo. And you can find all of tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following: by viewers like you. Thank you.